Wow. Okay, so after a long 2 days of the NHL Draft, we have seen the Utah Hockey Club trade for Mikhail Sergachev as well as John Marino, bolstering up that defensive core in Utah in hopes for a potential playoff push. And I mean, let's talk about it. After a disappointing year last year when many thought a playoff push was necessary for the culture of Arizona as well as the city of Phoenix, this is a new beginning for Utah as they has traded for Sergachev and John Marino, and now they have a playoff contending team. Mikhail Sergachev is potentially a top 10 defenseman in the NHL, but let's be honest, his injury last season, I don't think he'll ever be the same. He completely butchered his knee. His knee will never be the same. He came back late in the first round, and it just wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough, and Florida took advantage of Tampa's weaknesses. And as well, Tampa traded out Tanner Jeannot, so you're going to be seeing a lot of changes on Tampa's side. But when it comes to Utah, they get a high upside. It is a huge gamble when it comes to the defensive aspect of how much he can play. Is he really going to be the same? But more importantly, his defense. His defense is incredible, and he might not have that offensive upside that he had before, but if he can stay low and be able to protect the blue line and help Connor Ingram, that might be enough. That contract of $8 million might be a little bit too much, but this is what Utah needed. They needed to go out there, and the owner of the Utah Hockey Club, soon to be the Utah Yeti, as the owner said, they're really going to make a difference, and they want to go all in for this year. They want to make the playoffs, and they want that arena to be packed going into the playoffs and maybe make it past round one. But that's pushing it. First, they have to make the playoffs, and you have to ask yourself, with this two additional defensemen and John Marino and Mikhail Sergachev, plus the growth of Dylan Guenther, Clayton Keller potentially entering his prime, Connor Ingram being a really good goaltender last year, he has to be just a little bit better. Everybody on that team has to be a little bit better. Valimaki, he just signed a 2-year extension. Hopefully he can get a little bit better. And is that enough? That's when you have to start asking yourself that question. You look at the playoffs, it's a little tough. I don't think, these are the teams that I don't think that they're better than. You're going to hit your Edmontons, your Vancouvers, your Winnipegs, your Colorados, your Vegases, your Dallas. And then you're kind of up in a wild card right now. I think they're better than the Kings. The Kings are very good. Do not get me wrong. But Darcy Kemper's not the option. They did get rid of Pierre-Luc Dubois, which will definitely help them, and they might edge out the Utah Hockey Club, but it's the youth, the speed, and the agility that Utah brings to the team. Now, with a lot of money in free agency, what happens there? Do they go out and get a big fish, or do they go trade for Mitch Marner, who's been in talks for Utah for the past months? Do they make a massive move via trade, signing? I do think that they're not done in this offseason. I think there's a lot of moves that they will make, and the team is going to get a lot better. I truly do think so. But what they're missing now is that top-heavy production. Barrett Hayden, he has to be a little bit better. Is that meaning that he's going to be traded? Because he hasn't really lived up to that potential he was at the World Juniors. We saw him break his wrist, and I don't think he's ever really been the same ever since he broke his wrist in that semifinal game, if I'm not mistaken, for Canada. He did play a phenomenal gold medal game, but I don't think he's ever been the same. This team is going to be special. This team's going to be a lot of fun going into next year. They're going to make some differences, and they're going to make an impact. Will that mean that they make the playoffs? We will see. They have some money to spend. Is Jake Guentzel a member of the Utah Hockey Club come July 1st? We don't know. But what we do know is this team is not done, and this team